Now sticking with Tata Motors, which is a stock which is in the news, 5.5% up. Let's go and talk to somebody who knows this industry probably better than any other and would have been a key competitor to Tata Motors had he been in the saddle of Maruti. Jagdish Khattar, former Managing Director of Maruti, is with us right now. Mr. Khattar, appreciate you joining in today. First up, what kind of demand, I mean, we've been hearing various numbers, but what kind of demand do you envisage for the Nano?
You see, it's, one is the demand. If you're talking about the booking that is going to take place, I think that's not an indication. In the sense that in what way it is being financed, what is the rate of interest, etc. And there are many people, speculators, who come into the market to probably try and see whether they can make a premium, unless the company has worked out a system by which it can be avoided. So initial demand, initial booking, I think one should take with a pinch of salt either way. If it is less, doesn't matter. If it is too high, doesn't matter. But the important point is that this is a product which is creating a new space in the auto market. You have 60, 70 million two-wheelers on the road. I think it's an aspiration of everyone to upgrade. Now here is a product which is between what is Maruti's 800 and Alto and two-wheelers. So as far as demand is concerned, these are the prospective customers. Now how they can be persuaded to upgrade, how it can be financed, what the product is like, does it meet their aspirations in terms of fuel efficiency, in terms of cost of ownership, in terms of quality, remains to be seen.
That's what people are trying to do, Mr. Khattar, try to peg the demand somewhere between two-wheelers and passenger vehicles right now. If not for the first demand spurt they may see, what do you think is a more likely tick they can achieve?
Again, I'm sorry if I won't give you firm number. Demand will be there, aspiration would be there at that price. But it's a question again of supply. If the supply is restricted during the course of 1 year, I think ideally speaking, and of course it was not in their control, they should have had far more vehicles in stock before launching. They should have enough in the pipeline to meet the demand, because there is an initial enthusiasm, and if that is fulfilled, by word of mouth the demand keeps on increasing. But if there is scarcity in the earlier stages, then one doesn't know what way it should go. But coming back to your question, at this price point, the demand would certainly, after all, at 2.3 lakhs, Alto is selling 20,000 a month. Here you are giving a price right in the middle between the two-wheelers and four-wheelers. So demand should be there. I mean, there is no question of it. But again, I think there are so many other ifs as you go along, which they are fulfilled. We will actually see what it is going to be.
Supply is an issue though, Mr. Khattar. I mean, we understand only 500 to 700 units may have been manufactured. To your own understanding, sir, how feasible is it to hold out a waiting period as much as 12 months, which is what some people are estimating it to be?
See, I think they must have done their homework. Let us see. For me to speculate at this time, I think it's their objective, what they want. It's also how much they anticipate would be produced during the course of next 7-8 months before their Gujarat thing comes. I think it's entirely an exercise. And secondly, we'll also, at what terms are they going to take the booking? You can take so much of cash, but what is the rate of interest you are giving them? Now, if the rate of interest is reasonable, people will continue, more will book. If it is not, so I think there are lots of ifs. Some of the ifs would be answered this evening when they make that announcement.
Staying with that point, Mr. Khattar, what kind of interest rates do you think will be charged by financiers for the Nano, and how critical would that be in determining what the offtake of the product is?
You see, as one reads in the paper, today two-wheeler rate of interest is 20% plus. Cars is 11, 12, 13, 14, whatever it is. Now, because of the customer profile, probably the banks will fix the rate of interest between the four-wheeler and two-wheeler. I think that's pretty, for these customers, it will be certainly less than two-wheeler, but more than four-wheeler. Now, to what extent will that impact the enthusiasm remains to be seen. Now, second you mentioned is about the spare parts and all other things. I think this customer profile is very different. They are from two-wheelers. They are very cost conscious. I'm sure Tata Motors will be keeping that in mind when they arrange for the after sales, because most of these customers do not go to regular two-wheeler workshops, manufacturers' workshop, because there are thousands of them across the country. Now, this is going to be a challenge before the manufacturers and the dealers.
Do you expect a rub-off, Mr. Khattar, good or bad, on the 800? Because already comparisons have been drawn in terms of mileage, the spare parts, what kind of long-term servicing costs you might have to face for an 800 versus a Nano.
See, Alto in any case was supposed to be a replacement of Maruti 800. I think the fact that Maruti brought the price of Alto nearer 800 was that they wanted the customers to have a common choice. So I think whenever you look at Maruti, you should see 800 plus Alto combined. So I think that one has to keep in mind. But as far as Nano is concerned, again the question is, it will have an impact on the automobile industry. There is no doubt about it. Something which we saw what 800 did 25 years back, this is going to do now. Now, what effect it will have on whom? I think in all probability, of course it remains to be seen, it will create a niche for itself somewhere and could have some effect on the both sides, maybe on some top-end two-wheelers or the 800, the present car ladder that we have. But that remains again to be seen.
Okay, Mr. Khattar, we'll leave it at that. Appreciate you joining in today. Tata Motors, by the way, is the big star in the autos, 5.5%. That's the high point in trade. Maruti, curiously enough, is a little bit subdued, and there's